So for our second topic for today, we have the laws of logarithm. So we will deal with the three laws of logarithm wherein we have this one, the first law. The first law is what we call the product rule law. Okay, so as you can see, we have the logarithm of mn to the base b. So, di ba sa algebra, when we see two variables na magkadikit, that is, ang operation na gagamitin is the multiplication. Therefore, this is product. So, pag kinuha natin yung answer nung dalawang variable na pinagdikit natin or pag pinag-multiply natin, ang tawag natin din is the product. Kaya tawag natin is the product rule law kasi multiplication yung operation and its base is both equivalent to B. So when we expand this single form of logarithm, the logarithm mn to the base b, pagka po in-expand natin siya or hinimay-himay natin or sineparate natin si m at si n, it will become the logarithm of m to the base b. So as you can see, ito yung una nating variable which is m. So hiniwalay natin siya sa n. So we have the logarithm of m to the base b. And then, plus sign yung gagamitin natin. Pagka po product rule ang logarithm natin, we will separate the numbers or the variables gamit ang plus sign. So, pag product, ito nakalagay din. When product, we will get the sum of the logarithm. So, dahil product to, product ng mn, so pag sineparate natin sila, ang ipang-separate natin ay the plus sign. So, we will get the sum. So, we have the logarithm of m to the base b plus, and then the second variable is n, so we have the logarithm of n to the base b. So, para mas maintindihan natin, let's have an example. The first example, which is equivalent to the logarithm of 3xy to the base 2. So, let's have this logarithm. So, the logarithm of 3xy to the base 2. So, how many terms do we have here? So, meron tatlong factors dito. So, we have the three terms. We have the 3, the x, and the y. So, yan po yung mga factors natin. So, not term, kasi yung term nga pala is for monomial, binomial. So, we have three factors. So, the three factors are the 3, x, and y. So, we have to separate, or we are being asked to get the expanded form of this single term. So, all of these factors, ang logarithm nila and the base is just the same. So, we will copy logarithm and its base every time na pinag-ihiwalay natin yung mga factors. So, let's have first the first factor, which is equivalent to 3. So, when we get the expanded form of this logarithm, so we will get the logarithm, its base, which is 2, then write 3. Then, separate na natin siya sa x and y, the logarithm of x and y. So, we will use the plus sign since dikit-dikit. Again, this is multiplication. This is the product rule. So, plus sign yung gagamitin natin pang separate sa mga logarithms. Kasi we are getting the sum of the logarithm. So, we have the logarithm. The base is 2 and x. And we have the last logarithm. So, plus sign again. And we have logarithm. Its base is 2 and y. So the expanded form of the logarithm 3xy to the base 2 is the logarithm of 3 to the base 2 plus the logarithm of x to the base 2 and the logarithm of y to the base 2. So ganyan po siya kinukuha pag in-expand natin yung single term na example natin. Okay? So again, this is the product rule. So now, let's proceed sa ating second rule. So our second rule is represented by the logarithm of m over n to the base b. So as you can see, meron tayong fraction ni m over n. And pag fraction, automatically, we know that the operation we use for fraction is division. So this is what we call, so kung kanina product rule, yung tawag sa law number 1, the law number 2 is what we call the quotient rule. So we have the logarithm of m over n to the base b. And when we get the expanded form of logarithm of m over n to the base p. So we will get first the numerator. So in this case, we have the m. So we will get the logarithm and the base. So log b m, and the separator will be the minus sign. So pag quotient rule, kung kanina sa product rule plus sign ang katandem, sa quotient rule ang katandem niya is the minus sign. As you can see, meron nakalagay dito, the logarithm of a quotient is equal to the difference of the logarithm. So pag sinabi natin difference, it is the answer of subtraction. So meaning, gagamitin natin ay yung sign or yung symbol na ginagamit natin for subtraction, which is the minus sign. So after getting the logarithm of the numerator minus the logarithm of the denominator. So log b n. So in order for us to understand it clearly, so let's have this example. So we have the logarithm of 7 over y to the base 4. So let's get the expanded form of logarithm of 7 over y to the base 4. So first, write the logarithm of the numerator, then minus sign, then the logarithm of the denominator. So in this case, we have 7 sa ating numerator. So mauna natin siyang isulat. So we have the logarithm of 7 to the base 4. And yun sa numerator, kasi wala naman ng kasunod si 7. So denominator na agad tayo. And this will be separated by the minus sign. Then write the logarithm of the denominator, which is the logarithm of y to the base 4. So this is the expanded form of our logarithm of 7 over y to the base 4. So we have the logarithm of 7 to the base 4 minus the logarithm of y to the base 4. So this is the quotient rule. Now we have the law number 3, which is what we call the power rule. Okay, so in the power rule, as you can see, it is represented by the logarithm of m raised to k to the base b. So, ang ginagawa po natin is we will get the exponent of the answer. So, as you can see doon sa kabila, sa right side, we get the k and we write it na as hindi na siya naka-superscript, as a number na talaga siya na malaki. So, it will be parang whole number na sinulat. So, we have the k, and then we have the logarithm of m to the base b. So, let's have this example para mas maintindihan natin siya. So, we have the logarithm of x squared to the base 3. So, paano natin siya kukunin? So, we have the logarithm of x squared to the base 3. Again, the rule is to get the exponent, then we write the logarithm, the base, and the answer. So in this case, we have 2 as the exponent of the answer. So we will get 2, and then write the logarithm of x to the base 3. So the logarithm of x squared to the base 3 is also equivalent to 2, and then the logarithm of x to the base 3. Okay, so that's it. Let's have another example, more complex one. So let's have this first example. We have the logarithm of quantity a squared c to the base 3. So let's have this. So medyo komplikado ng konti. We have the logarithm of a square c to the base 3. So when we expand this, kailangan alamin natin ano-ano yung mga rules na pwede natin i-apply. So, first, identify muna natin ilan yung mga factors natin. Since magkakatabi to, wala tayong fraction. So, we have factors. So, we have a squared and c. So, pag pinaghiwalay natin to, we have to apply yung mga laws. So, we have the product rule wherein paghihiwalay natin yung dalawang factors, get the sum of the logarithms since this is the product rule. So we have first this a squared. So we have the logarithm of let's rewrite first. We have the logarithm of a squared to the base 3 and it is separated by plus sign since this is a product rule. We are applying the product rule. We have the c and the a squared na magkatabi. So this is multiplication, the product rule. So write the logarithm of c to the base 3. However, as you can see doon sa ating logarithm a squared to the base 3, meron pa tayong exponent doon sa ating a or the answer. So we have this still exponent na square. So we have to apply naman, after applying the product rule, we can apply the third rule, which is the power rule, where iniiwalay natin itong exponent nito. So we will get the exponent. So we have 2 and the logarithm of a to the base 3. So dalawa yung in-apply nating rule, the product rule and the power rule. So una, sineparate muna natin yung dalawang factors, which is a squared and c. So ito na po yun. Ito yung unang ginawa natin. However, as you can see, the answer has an exponent of 2. So we have to apply the power rule in this logarithm. So pag in-apply natin siya, ibababa natin dito sa kabila yung exponent. So the exponent is equivalent to 2. Kaya nagkaroon dito ng 2 before the logarithm symbol. So we have 2 and then the logarithm of a to the base 3. And just copy the logarithm of c to the base 3 since yun na po ang kanyang simplest form. So ito po ang ating expanded form for the logarithm of a squared c to the base 3. Okay, so we have 2. The expanded form is 2 times the logarithm of a to the base 3 plus logarithm of c to the base 3. Okay. Let's have another example. So we have the logarithm of c cubed d over m to the base 4. So ito, halo-halo. Let's have this one, the logarithm of c cubed d over m to the base 4. So first, again, identify how many digits or variables or numbers do we have. So sa numerator, ilan ang meron tayo? We have c cubed and d. So we have 2. And sa denominator, we have m. So we have 3 variables na pag-hiwa-hiwalayin to make it, pagka i-expand natin siya, yung single form na to. So again, meron tayong ganito, may over. So, apply muna natin yung quotient rule. Pero sa numerator, ito, we have c cubed d. Ang i-apply muna natin, dahil magkadikit yan, apply muna natin yung product rule since magkatabi si c cubed and d. So, we have logarithm. Unahin natin yung numerator. Paghiwalayin natin yung dalawang numerator, the c cubed and d. So, we have c cubed. As you can see, yung c ay merong exponent na 3. So, pwede na din natin i-apply diretso na yung power rule. So, pag i-apply sa power rule, kukunin natin yung exponent ng answer. And in this case, the exponent of c is 3. So, we will write 3 before the logarithm symbol. Now, we have 3 times the logarithm of c to the base 4. And, ihiwalay na natin siya dun sa katabi niya na d. And since magkatabi sila, this is still the product rule. They will be separated by the plus sign since sila po ay sum ng dalawang logarithm. So we will get the logarithm symbol and its base is 4 and d. So we have the logarithm of d to the base 4. Now we are done with the separation of our numerators, the c cubed and d. Meron pa tayong isa which is m na nasa denominator, and now dahil nasa denominator siya, meron tayo, that indicates na meron tayong i-apply na isa pang rule which is the quotient rule dahil meron tayong fraction. So, after d, we will write the minus sign para i-indicate na yung nasa denominator ay minus natin dito sa sum ng dalawang logarithm. So, the sum of these two logarithms minus the logarithm of nandoon sa denominator. So, we will just write the logarithm minus the logarithm of m to the base 4. So, this is the expanded form of our example. So, we have 3 times the logarithm of c to the base 4 plus the logarithm of d to the base 4, so yun yung numerator, minus the denominator, which is the logarithm of m to the base 4. So I hope na nakakasunod tayo. Expanded form into a single form. Now, let's have the logarithm of x to the base 2 plus the logarithm of y to the base 2 minus the logarithm of 3 times the logarithm of z to the base 2. So, we have 3 logarithms in this example. So, we have the logarithm of x to the base 2 plus the logarithm of y to the base 2 minus 3 times the logarithm of z to the base 2. And as you can see, how many logarithms do we have? So we have 3 logarithms with same base, which is 2. So we can combine this logarithm since pare-parehas naman sila ng base. So first is to write the logarithm and the base. So the log symbol and the base, which is equivalent to 2. And as you can see, we have x plus sign and the y. So we get the logarithm. So we're done with the logarithms. And as you can see, we have first, yung unang dalawa, we have the x plus y. So since x plus y yan, meaning this is the sum, so we will get the product of the two answers. So what is the product of x and y? So we have x, y. So x times y is xy. Tama naman po. So ito na yung log 2 and then the x plus y. So get the product of the answer. So we have x times y, which is equivalent to xy. And as you can see, the next separator or the next operation is the minus sign or the subtraction. So this indicates that the sum of this logarithm is subtracted to this logarithm. So, pag merong minus sign, meaning we will be applying the quotient rule. Pag may quotient rule, meron tayong fraction. So, after writing x and y, meron tayong fraction kasi minus sign yung sumunod. Then, as you can see, we get the logarithm and the base 2. So we have 3 and z. And 3 is written before the log symbol. So meaning, ito po ay, itong number na to yung exponent ng ating z. Therefore, the denominator has z cubed. Okay, so the single form of logarithm of x to the base 2 plus the logarithm of y to the base 2 minus 3 times the logarithm of z to the base 2 is logarithm of xy over c cubed to the base 2. So this is the single form of the given example. Okay, so let's have another example. We have 3 times the logarithm of x to the base 4 plus 2 times the logarithm of y to the base 4. So we have 2 logarithms here. We have 3 times the logarithm of x to the base 4 plus, okay, 2 times the logarithm of y to the base 4. So as you can see, how many logarithms do we have? We have 2 logarithms, this one, and they are separated by a plus sign. So this indicates that we will apply the product rule, or we will multiply x and y. But before applying those, let's get first the logarithm 4 and the base. So we have logarithm and the base is 4. And as you can see, we still have numbers before the logarithm symbol. So first, let's have 3. So we have 3 here before the logarithm symbol, meaning this is the exponent of x. And this 2 is the exponent of y. Therefore, we have x cubed and y squared in here. Then we have this plus sign. And this indicates that we have to get the product of x cubed and the y squared. So what is x cubed times y squared? So we will just write x cubed y squared because that is the product of x cubed and y squared. Therefore, the single form for this given example is the logarithm of x cubed y squared to the base 4. So basically, this is the law of logarithm. So I am challenging you to solve for the other examples here. So we still have 3 more examples. You can do it by your own. Practice yourselves para ma-master nyo siya. And dito naman, we can use this one. You can so for this remaining 3 examples, so I already discussed these first 2 examples. So I'm challenging you again to so for this 3, 4, and 5, and as well as with this one. Okay, so that's it for this week. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Hope may natutunan kayo. See you on our next discussion video.